Welcome to the second day session of ICMC II, International Conference of Media and Communication Research. Contribution towards Sustainable Development Goals on 29th and 30th January 2024. Organized by the School of Media and Communication in collaboration with conference partners, Delhi Metropolitan Education Noida, Makhanlal Chaturvedi University Bhopal, American International University of Bangladesh Dhaka, Manipur University Imphal, and HAC University Moscow, Russia. Digital media partner, EduGraph, and Scopus Index Journal, Migration Letters. The Sustainable Development Goals addresses the growing concern for environmental sustainability, social responsibility, and ethical considerations in the field of communication. Sustainable Development Goals and media communication research are interconnected in many ways. Media communication research plays an important role in achieving sustainable development goals by raising awareness, monitoring progress, influencing policy, addressing misinformation and disinformation, and understanding local perspective and context. Many goals are related to media and journalism, as they emphasize the importance of freedom of expression, access to information, and the role of media in promoting sustainable development. This conference will explore the contribution and scope of media and communication research in achieving sustainable development goals. The conference themes are core themes and alternative themes. It also offers an opportunity for debates and discussion around different goals and interconnections with media and communication, as well as future perspective in research and development in the domain. I am Tania Mukherjee, currently pursuing my bachelor's in journalism from School of Media and Communication at Adamas University, and I am the student coordinator for this fifth session. The topic for this session is journalism and...
Yeah, so I think Shashikala ma'am is yet to, start off with. So we will just wait for some while and reach her destination. I think she's on her way. So we'll just wait for some while for let her come and then we can again start. Okay, thank you.
Please, you can continue and I'll switch on my video as soon as I reach the destination. Okay. Let us not wait. The session should not get.
Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am. Tanya, please go ahead.
I am Tania Mukherjee, currently pursuing a bachelor's in journalism from School of Media and Communication at Adamas University, and I am the student coordinator for this fifth session. So today's topic is journalism and technology, which will be led by session chair Dr. Shashikala. She is the Dean Academics Head, Department of New Media Technology, Makhanlal Chaturvedi, National University of Journalism and Communication, Bhopal. And the session co-chair, Dr. Natasha Elang ma'am. She is an assistant professor, Department of Mass Communication, Manipur University. The moderator for the session will be Ms. Moumita Dedas. She is an assistant professor, Department of Journalism and Mass Communication, School of Media and Communication, Adamas University, Kolkata. She is pursuing her PhD program in the Faculty of Media and Communication, Symbiosis International University, Pune. She is the chief editor and project supervisor of JournalPost, that is Adamas University Students News Portal. She has also published her debut Bengali fiction book, Shat Kahun, by UQT Publishing in 2022. She was a formal editorial consultant of the International Justice Mission, Kolkata. Adamas University has conferred her with the Teaching Excellence Award in 2021. She has rich experience of 16 years in media studies as an academician and print media industry as a journalist. The terms and conditions for the participants are: each paper will be provided 15 minutes. The first 10 minutes will be reserved for the explanation, and the last 5 minutes is allotted for questions and answers. This session will be covering 5 papers. We have to respect the time provided for equal participation. I would like to hand over the session to Ms. Moumita Dedas. Ma'am, over to you.
Thank you, Tanya, for your wonderful introduction. Good morning and welcome to the second day of ICMC II. Today, we have with us two distinguished academicians for this technical session, track 5 on journalism and technology. The session chair is Professor Dr. P. Shashikala, Dean Academics and Head, Department of New Media Technology, Makhanlal Chaturvedi National University of Journalism and Communication, Bhopal. As University Technical National Education Policy Coordinator, she is instrumental in implementing NEP-based 10 programs at MCU. She is member of Executive Council and Academic Council of various higher education institutions. She is also the member of New Media Committee of MHRD, present Education Ministry. She is also authorized trainer for fact-checking by Google News Initiative. She has more than 28 years of research and teaching experience, published more than 70 research papers in national, international journals and conferences. Welcome to you, sir, ma'am. She is also an active member in New Media Policy Documentation, ICT Curriculum Designing and Framing, policy making for gaming industry at national and state level. Now we come to our co-chair of the session is Dr. Natasha Ilanban, a Senior Assistant Professor, Department of Mass Communication, Manipur University. She was a Senior Content Manager with DDInews.com, Doordarshan News, New Delhi. She also held the position of copy editor, Britannica.com. She won the Rajat Kamal for the best narration for non-feature film, Sana Ki Thel, at the 56th National Film Awards. Hope, ma'am, I have spelled it rightly. New Delhi, 2010. She presented papers at international conferences at Japan, Philippines, Thailand, Dubai. Her academic field of interests are communication theory, film studies, radio, and new media. Welcome to you in this session. Now we come to the theme of the session, journalism and technology. Yesterday, on 29th January, we marked a special day in the history of journalism in Bengal. Why? The Irishman James Augustus Hickey published India's first printed newspaper, Bengal Gazette, or Calcutta General Advertiser, on January 29, 1780. Commemorating the day, this session holds a special mention in this conference. Keeping in view the theme of our conference of the SDG goals, I would briefly mention the role of journalism in sustainable society. In sustainable development, SDG 16.10 states the need for public access to information and fundamental freedoms, and recognizes the safety of journalists as an indicator of progress. Public access to information is fundamental in every aspect of sustainable development, and journalism is a fundamental enabler of information. Furthermore, there is the question of journalism's own sustainability, with economic viability as a key component. Journalism needs to be sustainable on all levels for it to optimally be able to advance a sustainable development of society by supplying verified information and informed analysis. Now, we call upon our session chairs and co-chairs to share their thoughts briefly, and henceforth we will start our session directly. Ma'am, Shashikala ma'am, are you there?
I'll be addressing little later.
Okay,
you can continue
so
this session.
I'll go. I'll go by Natasha ma'am. Just share your thoughts about this session and the theme of this session.
Good morning, everyone. I'm really honored to be here among such distinguished academicians and researchers. The 5 papers, I've gone through the abstracts. They're very fascinating because it's like the range is really wide, like from Israel to Jammu and Kashmir. So I'm really looking forward to this session, and I hope, I wish you well, all the researchers, and I thank Adamas University for thinking of me when you are conducting this seminar. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Shashikala ma'am, are you there? Shashikala ma'am, can we start or?
Moumita ji, please up proceed na. I'll just
ठीक है. So I'll just proceed with the session whenever you are just okay. So now we call upon our first presenter of the theme and the session, K. Riga Sounder. Mr. K. Riga Sounder. His paper is on struggle of citizen journalists, opinion study of media experts and academicians in Tamil Nadu. Mr. K. Riga Sounder, hope you are there.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Can you share your PPT with us?
Yeah, sure, ma'am.
As of the norms, we have 10 minutes for your presentation and then the 5 minutes for your question.
Ma'am, it's showing that host disabled participant screen sharing.
Okay, so I'll just check out.
Yes, ma'am, please enable to share PPT slide for all the participants. There will be
Yes.
an option. Yes.
Yeah, I'll just check. Mr. Riga Sounder,
Ma'am?
I hope you are now you are co-host, so you can present your. Just check.
Okay.
Yeah, just share your screen. Yeah.
Is it visible, ma'am?
Yeah, it's visible. Yeah.
Okay. Good morning to one and all present here. First of all, thanks to the moderator, Adamas University, to present my paper in this conference, international conference on media and communication. This paper is Struggle of Citizen Journalist, Opinion Study of Media Experts and Academician in Tamil Nadu, is regarding the struggles and problems, challenges faced by citizen journalists during the process of citizen journalism. The growth of the internet has changed the people interact with news, how they gather news. Everything is changed because of the rise of internet. This particular, the information and communication technology has given the opportunity to the common people to gather information about government policies without relying on newspapers and television news. They themselves, without the help of mainstream media, are ready and they are getting the informations through social media. This gave the rise for the participatory journalism, independent journalism, and all other kind of journalism. This journalism, citizen journalism, is something which, without the background of media, the common citizen is involving in the process of journalism is termed as citizen journalism. Citizen journalism is a term used to refer to an ordinary individuals who act as journalists during some part of the process of creating content for mainstream journalism coverage. There are various experiments around the world involve the participation of citizens in collecting, analyzing, and producing news. This paper analyzes such kind of experiments in the background of state of Tamil Nadu. Many researchers and studies indicate there are two significant obstacles that arise during the citizen journalism process. The first one is lack of fact checking before publishing the news, which eventually leads to the creation of fake news. This I will explain it why this barrier is occurring. This paper is actually about why these two barriers are coming across the process of citizen journalism. The paper is actually about this two barriers. There are previous studies which explains these are the which indicates there are two barriers. I'm just explaining this in the review of literature chapter. The second barrier is the safety of citizen journalists while covering and reporting sensitive and political issues. The great Minnow, a famous journalist, academician, and scholar, he said, if you never take risk, you will rarely write a story of the consequences. This is this quote was given by Greg Munro while presenting his paper on challenges of citizen journalism in an international conference. One of a student is a participant. He asked this question to Greg Munro that why should a journalist or individual should take risk while writing a story. This is his reply for that participant. It is in 2019, Al-Nutari did a survey regarding Saudis using to Twitter to discuss economic issues more freely than possible in the mainstream media. The study reveals the danger of people using Twitter to discuss economic issues. The author says that such use of Twitter is to spread fake news and rumors, as the accuracy of the information on these posts has been considered paramount. This is the study regarding in the Saudis when that economic issues came in 2019. Saudis, the citizens of the Saudi Arabia, took Twitter as a platform to discuss the issues. This study reveals that that kind of discussion had literally took to the spread of fake news and rumors about the economical conditions prevailed in Saudi Arabia during that time. Again, Charlie Beckett in 2009, in his study Ethical and Real Hazards of Citizen Journalism, explains the problems and hurdles faced by citizen journalists. He says that there will be no safety for citizen journalists in case of legal issues. If they produce any fake news which leads to any problems, then they have to face the consequences on their own. To avoid such inconvenience, citizen journalists should learn the ethics of journalism. This explains out of curiosity, if we provide news, we in the sense, I mean, if I bothered about something which personally affect me, if I report that news through social media, out of curiosity, I don't mind my language. I don't follow ethics, how to present the news. I just, out of curiosity, I just share the news, which lacks, that content, if it lacks ethics of journalism, which creates some problems, then I have to face the consequences legally. So in that case, citizen journalists should learn ethics of journalism. This study insists that if a citizen is ready to do journalism practices, then he or she should learn the ethics of journalism. I have adapted a qualitative study and I have adapted in-depth interview for this study because there are studies which reveals the actual problems in the process of citizen journalism. I want to study more deeply into that problem in the background of context of Tamil Nadu. So I selected an in-depth interview method. And with the convenient sampling, I have selected 15 members. Initially, I have selected 15 members. There is a paper literature which regarding the in-depth interview, which said that if the information is getting repeated, you can stop the count, the sampling when the information gets repeated. Actually, I have selected 15 experts. Among them, after the count of 8, I got same responses, same informations for the questions I have framed for the interview. So I stopped with 10 media experts. Among them, 8 are from the media industry and 2 are from academicians. This one is I have separated equally 5-5. Actually, the 3 of them are now in the media industry. Out of them, 2 are actually basically academicians. They now working in the media industry. So I didn't mention here that. So I just want to clarify 5 from academic side, 5 from media institution. From the in-depth interview, it is found out that the most challenges faced by citizen journalists are their safety concern and a lack of professional writing skills. These 2 are the important challenges faced by citizen journalists while involving themselves in the process of citizen journalism. Particularly regarding the safety concern, gender plays a vital role in these safety concern issues. Yeah, even though in gender issues that exist in all other professions, also there in journalism, experts affirm that gender can be observed as a hindrance in the citizen journalism process. Considering the gender, female citizen journalists face more threats rather than male citizen journalists. This study found out that gender is an biggest hindrance to the process of citizen journalist. But again, speaking about the gender, before the popularization of social media, women speaking about social and civic issues were high. But nowadays, women discern social media platforms are not safe to express their opinions. Apparently, family and society restrict women from sharing their views on social problems because of being verbally abused and getting trolled for their physical appearance. Again, while if a male address some social problems or sensitive issues or political issues, he himself directly gets threat personally. Somewhat, it is between the opposition and him. But in the case of women, not only her, but her character, her family, the background of the individual women is taken for the threats. She alone is not facing the threats. He says her entire family is facing the threat. This study found out that women are facing threat not individually, but with the whole family to the extent the personal image of her gets morphed, her characters get assassinated. These kind of hindrances are faced by women journalists, which this study found out. Again, the fake news is one of the pitfalls of citizen journalism. Lack of fact-checking.
Excuse me, Mr. Rigas Sounda, it's already 10 minutes. So can you please wrap up?
Okay. Okay, this is the core finding. Citizen journalism lacks professionalism, which is considered as an important hindrance. Lack of professionalism this paper means professionalism, as citizen journalists should follow media ethics and laws in order to cut down the creation of fake news. Regarding professionalism, one of the experts specifically underlined that the citizen journalism method might disclose insensitive on a delicate subject without intending. The study also found that is no proper ethical framework or structure for the citizen journalist to work. And this paper request for a ethical framework to citizen journalists to work. Most of the experts opine that in Tamil Nadu there is confusion between participatory journalism, social media journalism, and citizen journalism. So it is high time to define citizen journalism. Many of the experts request to define citizen journalism in the background of in the context of Tamil Nadu. With the member of crowdfunding forum, a monitoring board has to be established and it should monitor the citizen journalism activities without affecting the freedom. The in-depth interview from the experts opinion insisted on a crowdfunding forum to monitor the citizen journalism activities to discuss all the struggles faced by citizen journalists. The forum should also impact media and ethics education to citizen journalists. The monitor board should have at least 2 legal professionals who must ensure the safety of citizen journalists. In order to attain professionalism, an ethical framework has to be constructed, and in this process, citizens should act as a watchdog for the news given by the citizens. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Regasona. It's very interesting, and citizen journalism is truly, call of the nation. Ma'am, Natasha ma'am would like to ask any questions, or can we go at the end with our discussion?
Just one question, like, why didn't you go to the citizen journalists themselves to speak about their challenges, and why would you take only the opinions of academicians and media experts?
Actually, like I said, it is hard to define citizen journalism in Tamil Nadu. So we are in the position like it's very difficult to identify who citizen journalist in Tamil Nadu. Again, we cannot took somebody posting news on social media as a citizen journalist. It is we have initially planned for a 300 samples of citizen journalists in Tamil Nadu, but we didn't find that independent journalists, they claim themselves as a citizen journalist. Social media writers, they claim themselves as journalists. So it is here in Tamil Nadu, it is hard for us to position or identify or pinpoint these fellows are citizen journalists. This is quite confusing here. So we first we are trying to define what citizen journalism with the background of Tamil Nadu. Then for further study, we can go for that citizen journalist opinion, ma'am.
So for the purpose of your research paper, are you able to define who citizen journalists are?
We actually believe that we all know that Pari people archives of India. They are doing some kind of they actually open a portal for Pari's rural archive run by P. Sainath. He collect news from the citizens. He in his website he gave a mobile number and a website address. You can post the problems in that website. He with the help of his organization, he comes and verify and he posts that. Actually, we are trying to say that citizen journalism, we try to define citizen journalism as a process of individuals addressing their problems through social media with the help of mainstream journalism. I mean to say which should be through or with the guidance of mainstream media, if it is possible. Like, can I take two more minutes, ma'am? Okay. CNN in 2008, they initiated a program, Voices of Citizens. Like that program, they hear the problems of the citizens through mainstream media. Again, citizen journalism is the process rather than addressing their problems in social media, they can address in mainstream media, which will be more healthier. We in Tamil Nadu, we guess.
Okay. I'm interested to know what the scenario of citizen journalism is in Tamil Nadu. Is it very vibrant? Is it active or not really?
Actually, quite it's a problem. Its need for citizen journalism in Tamil Nadu arise because of political parties' pressure over mainstream journalism. That is the biggest issue going over here. So the citizens, they came as they rise out their voice for themselves. But again, the political parties, in the name of citizen journalism, they run IT wings. They spread news in the name of citizen journalism, which again also confuses. They are intruded in the process of citizen journalism. Again, it is getting biased or a kind of it's a political thing. So it is in Tamil Nadu, citizen journalism is at very early stage. It has to be raised. They are here most citizen journalism progress is at they are addressing only civic issues. They are not speaking more than that. They are not addressing social issues. They are not addressing. They just the street lamp is not working well. The drainage system is not working well. At this civic level, it is running. But on the other hand, somebody's the political parties owned IT wings. They are keep spreading the political news. They claim here as they are the citizen journalist. Quite this is problem in the Tamil Nadu scenario. So it is not vibrant at all, but it is at a very early stage. It is still has to go through a lot, man.
Another thing you highlighted is about the gender issues in citizen journalism. So, how is that different from mainstream media? Like, does citizen journalism, doesn't it provide a better environment for women, or is it the same? Like, there's no gender issues?
Not a very big difference, ma'am. Again, women in the mainstream media is also facing struggles and all kind of threats. But at least if they face threat from outside the organization or from the political parties or somebody, at least these organization they where they are working for, whom they are working for, they are backing them up. In Tamil Nadu, they are somewhat to extent they are backing up them. But in the activities of citizen journalism, if women independently raise out her voice for some social issues, there is no backup. She has to gone through everything. She has to fight legally. Everything she has to take care. There is nobody to help her. At least in mainstream media, the organization is somewhat helping.
Thank you, Moumita.
Yes. Thank you. So we are going for the second speaker. We have with us Dr. Afaq Ahmed. His paper is assessing India's position regarding the conflict in and around the Gaza Strip and contrasting news emphasis in two prominent Israeli newspapers. Over to you, Dr. Afaq, and I would strictly, request the participants to stick to time. So you have exactly 10 minutes in hands for your presentation. Yeah, go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
The title of my paper is.
So can you make it full screen for us? And please switch on your video.
One. One.
Yeah, can you please switch on your video, please? Yeah.
One. Now I have to again. Yes. Now my screen is visible to you.
Yeah, it's visible. You have to just make it full screen. Yeah, it's visible. Yeah.
The topic of today's paper presentation is assessing India's position regarding the conflict in and around Gaza Strip and contrasting news emphasis into prominent Israeli newspapers. First of all, I would like to introduce the topic. This study basically examines the agenda of Israeli media in shaping public perceptions and understanding of the diplomatic relations of India with Israel.
So, sir, can you please speak louder? Your
Yes.
yeah.
The research delved into the portrayal of the diplomatic activities in major Israeli newspapers, namely Haaretz and Jerusalem Post, in shaping public perceptions of the Indian diplomatic relations between Israel and India during this ongoing conflict. Uh, f- I would like to shed light on the some historical aspects of both the newspapers under study. Uh, Founded in 1918, originally published in Hebrew language, later shortened, that is known as the Land, known for its strong literary influence and left-leaning, the Haaretz newspaper, whereas Jerusalem Post, founded in 1932 as the Palestine Post, became the Jerusalem Post in 1950, published in English, aimed at an international audience. Initially, it was basically a left wing paper, shifted center right in late 1980s. Currently, the paper has self-described as center right conservative approach. Yes, Haaretz considered center-left, known for its critical reporting on the Israeli government and its policies, currently owned by Shokin Group of private company. Whereas Jerusalem Post currently considered center-right uh, paper, generally supportive of the Israeli government, owned by the Jerusalem Post Group, a diversified media firm controlled by investor Eli Azur. Uh, when we talk about the content and audiences of both the newspapers under study, Haaretz newspapers offers in-depth analysis, cultural coverage, and investigative journalism. It primarily appeals to an educated secular Israeli audience, whereas Jerusalem Post focuses on breaking news, international affairs, and Israeli politics. The paper targets a broader audience, including international readers interested in Israel and Middle East. Uh, Also, recent controversy erupted. I would like to shed some light on the recent controversy that erupted. Haaretz newspaper, we talked about Haaretz newspaper, is accused by some of anti-Israel bias and factual errors, faced criticism for a 2017 op-ed comparing the Israeli religious right to Hezbollah. The Jerusalem Post, some articles, including criticisms of Haaretz, have been accused of lacking neutrality, faced controversy over government minister proposing to cut ties due to perceived anti-government bias. Through a qualitative framing analysis of the articles, op-eds, and editorials published in these two newspapers, this study explores the themes, framing, and emphasis placed on India's evolving diplomatic ties with the Israel during the ongoing conflict in and around Gaza region, examining the influence of media in shaping India's diplomatic interactions. This research illuminates the impact of Israeli print media on public perceptions and consequently on Israel's foreign policy choices concerning India. The objectives of the paper to analyze and compare the coverage strategies of two prominent Israeli newspapers, to examine the framing techniques employed by these newspapers in presenting diplomatic relations between Israel and India during this ongoing conflict and volatile situation in Gaza Strip, to access the portrayal of India's stance and involvement in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict by these newspapers and the study and understand the potential implications on bilateral relations. The last objective is to investigate the agenda-setting role of these newspapers in shaping public perceptions and discourse regarding diplomatic ties between India and Israel in the context of the Gaza conflict. The researcher adopted the methodology, the comparative content analysis. Uh, he conducted a comparative analysis of news articles published by Haaretz and Jerusalem Post related to diplomatic relations between Israel and India during the ongoing Gaza Strip conflict. The time frame of the selection process was the researcher selected a specific time frame between October 8, 2023 to December 31st, 2023 to collect articles for analysis. Articles
इधर का
randomly selected articles
इधर
using
क्या
Excuse me.
systematic random
Excuse me.
sampling methods to build
Please, Mr.
representative
Rika Sounder, please
samples
be
from
mute.
both newspapers, data collection, access and gathered articles from the online archives of Haaretz and Jerusalem Post, focus on coverage related to diplomatic ties with India amid the Gaza conflict. Coding scheme, the researcher developed a coding sheet to categorize articles based on themes such as diplomatic activities, political commentary, opinion pieces, and editorials. Also, the researcher considered coding for tones, perspectives, and any biases identified. Now, I would like to discuss about the findings the researcher got while analyzing the articles on different themes. The articles published in both the newspapers, the editorials, the op-ed pieces. The finding both Haaretz and Jerusalem Post offer valuable insights into Israeli news and politics, but with different perspectives and target audiences. The selection of these two prominent newspapers by the researcher is based on their distinct political biases and extensive coverage of India's diplomatic relations with Israel, particularly during the ongoing conflict in the Gaza Strip. Haaretz and Jerusalem Post seem to have exhibited variations in emphasis placed on diplomatic relations between Israel and India. The Jerusalem Post newspaper seems to have prioritized coverage or offered more in-depth analysis compared to the Haaretz newspaper. The newspapers appear to have differed in their tonal representation of India's stance in the context of the Gaza conflict. There could be differences in the portrayal of India's diplomatic gestures, policies, or statements related to the conflict. Findings also revealed distinct framing strategies employed by each newspaper and the study. For example, Haaretz focused more on the geopolitical implications of India's stance, while Jerusalem Post appears to have concentrated on the bilateral relationship between India and Israel. Analysis also uncovered the frequency and volume of articles dedicated to India-Israel diplomatic relations amid the
Dr.
Gaza.
Ahmed, 2 minutes more to go.
Yes, within 2 minutes I will try to conclude. Whereas Haaretz newspaper consistently prioritized or dedicated more space to this topic than the Jerusalem Post. That was one of the glaring examples what I get. Identification of biases also prevailed while analyzing the articles published during the study time frame. If identification of biases, including political, cultural or ideological inclinations were evident in the coverage of diplomatic activities. The newspapers seem to have exhibited differing perspectives, possibly influenced by their editorial stance, inclinations, or slanting or readership preferences. Analysis also revealed recurring themes for narratives within the news coverage. This could include discussions on diplomatic meetings, political statements, economic ties, or public sentiments regarding India's involvement during the Gaza conflict. Insights might have emerged regarding the newspaper's agenda setting function, indicating how their coverage influences public discourse or perceptions regarding India-Israel relations amid the ongoing conflict. The findings might have facilitated a comprehensive comparison of the reporting styles, angles, and depth of coverage between Haaretz and Jerusalem Post concerning this specific aspect of international relations. Haaretz, known for its nuanced and analytical reporting, tends to prioritize a broader geopolitical context in its coverage of India-Israel diplomatic relations during the Gaza conflict. It often delves into the implications of India's stance and actions within the larger global and regional framework. Conversely, Jerusalem Post, with its strong focus on Israeli affairs, leans towards highlighting the bilateral relationship between India and Israel. Its coverage might emphasize India's specific role in the context of Israel's diplomatic landscape, occasionally aligning with Israel's policy priorities. Now, I would like to conclude. These findings would offer valuable insights into how two influential Israeli newspapers frame and present diplomatic ties between Israel and India during the tumultuous period of conflict in and around the Gaza Strip, shedding light on their respective perspectives and editorial approaches. The comparative analysis of the news agenda of Haaretz and Jerusalem Post concerning diplomatic relations with India amid the ongoing conflict in and around the Gaza Strip reveals nuanced differences and distinct editorial perspectives. Haaretz and Jerusalem Post, while covering the same topic, exhibit variations in emphasis, framing, and tonal representation. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ahmed. Dr. Natasha will have some questions now.
Thank you, Dr. Ahmed. Very interesting topic. I got the idea that the two papers are covering the same topics from different perspectives. Could you give us an example, like just one example of a news which which different perspectives did it take, and what's the impact of that on the audience?
As I have already mentioned that the Haaretz newspapers, the paper.
It's one news incident where it's been covered from different perspectives. For example, I just got the idea that they're covering it differently. So can you cite an example, for instance, of one news, how it's covered differently from Haaretz and Jerusalem Post?
I did not recollect it in my memory. The whole content is kept in the paper. That is the problem. I don't think I have mentioned any example related to news. Yes. Basically, you can say as left-leaning newspaper, the Haaretz newspaper.
We got the idea that these papers are different, and they're covering the news item differently from different perspectives. So I was just interested in knowing, for instance, how they would cover one, like if you can cite one incident where they're covering it differently from different perspectives. So and is it very important for Israel, this Indo-Israel how important is it for them, this Indo-Israel relationship? Could you figure it out from your study?
Yes, that is very important because to some an extent, when the newspapers publish news items uh, comparing the two countries during the ongoing conflict, then it would have deeper impact on the bilateral ties between the two countries. For example, if Jerusalem Post publishes the same news item related to India's stand during the ongoing war between Palestine and Israel, then on the second hand, the hardest newspapers, when they publish, they are going to publish news uh, that could hamper the bilateral relations because both the countries' newspapers, they are prominent newspapers of Israel.
So from October to December, you've done a content analysis. So
Yes, yes. Qualitative framing analysis.
quantitatively, about how many articles were published in these papers about Indo-Israel relationships?
I have selected 10 articles.
10.
Yes, 10 articles from both the newspapers. Some articles were single column stories only, some double column stories, but two articles published on editorial page and op-ed pages.
Okay, thank you.
Those articles, I think, were most important because it was basically an opinion piece and editorial piece.
Thank you, Moumita.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Dr. Shashikala would like to comment anything on it or at the end?
I would like to comment at the end.
Yeah, okay,
but
fine.
I'm just admiring the questions of the co-chair.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, so we go ahead with our next speaker. Our next speaker, we have two. Soumya P and Dr. Deepa. I think three people
Thank you,
are
ma'am,
there.
for giving me the opportunity to present my paper at this forum.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your presentation.
Thank you.
So I think there are three people in this next. So we have Soumya P and Dr. Deepa and Vishwam VV. So their paper is Impact of Animation Skill Training on Employment Opportunities for School Dropouts. Okay, interesting. So who would go ahead with the presentation?
Ma'am, can I just have a minute, ma'am? I'm just screen sharing it, ma'am. Just a minute, ma'am.
Yeah, no issue on that. If you need some more time, then we can go ahead with the next speaker because we are running out of time.
Yeah, ma'am. 1 minute, ma'am. I'm almost there, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, I hope my screen is visible to all, ma'am.
No, it's not visible.
Okay.
Yeah, you have been given co-host, right? So you can just share it.
Ma'am, I'll just figure it out. Ma'am, can you just move to another person? I'll just finish. I'll do it once.
Okay, your other speakers are also there if they can try.
No, ma'am, I think she's little, she's
Okay.
away. So I'm just doing
Okay, so you have to just open the PPT and just share it, okay?
Yeah, ma'am, I'll do that.
Yeah, just okay. So I'll go for the next speaker. We have with us Muhammad Julkar Naik. His paper is on the role of journalism in central bank communication on sustainable banking initiatives Bangladesh perspective. There's another, he's our master's student and also a banker from Bangladesh. He's of SARC fellowship. So welcome, Julkar, and go ahead with your presentation.
Basically, I need some time to recover because I thought that next presenter will be present. Okay. Okay. Give me more time to share.
We'll just need some more time. Please bear with us. Go ahead, Naik. Sorry for the technical glitches. Yeah. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. Okay, Soumya, we can start with you. I think Naim is having some issues. So we go ahead with Soumya.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
So I'll share my screen here, ma'am.
Yeah, please do. Go ahead. Yeah.
It says a host in disability participant to share the screen, ma'am.
Yeah, so 10 minutes from now,
Yeah.
it's 11:02. We'll go for 11:12. Okay.
Sure, ma'am. Yeah.
Share your screen. Yeah.
Ma'am, it still shows the same, ma'am.
Okay, just a sec.
Ma'am, I think it has to be Soumya P, ma'am.
Yeah, Soumya,
Yeah.
Soumya P, right? হ্যাঁ বলছি Soumya.
Hello, ma'am. Ma'am, it still shows the same, ma'am.
Yeah, we have done it. Yeah.
Yeah, now I have got it. So yeah, ma'am, like, is my screen visible, ma'am?
Yeah, just a sec. We need some. Yeah, it's visible.
Yeah.
Yeah, now it's visible. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
So you have 10 minutes in hand, 11:30 by that. Bravo. Okay.
Sure, ma'am.
Go ahead.
So good morning, everyone. So this is me, Soumya from Mother Teresa Women's University. I'm going to present a paper on impact of animation skill training on employment opportunity for school dropouts. And I just wanted to give a small introduction where why did I choose this and the background study that I done for this paper was So it's basically in like after COVID, there are a lot of students who have been dropped out from their formal school and they have been just they have been employed as a laborers or they have been employed as a wages for a long period time after a COVID, where the government has initiated a few schemes under MSME and they are actually training these school dropout students to have a better economic status for those school dropouts, especially after COVID period. So here, I just wanted to start off with, the traditional education system may not give them a the proper hold of having an upliftment in the entered as after the COVID period, and the challenges which was faced by the school dropouts is basically the stigma and lack of skill. And they also had a limited access to the employment opportunities, which was faced by most of the dropout school students. And at that time, the MSME has also launched, or they have also introduced a course related to animation, where it is not in a very futuristic base, but then they have just initiated a program for 2 to 3 days over there, where they've been organized from the school dropouts, where individually every school they have taken the data from each school. From that, they would have actually picked a handful of students and they started giving them the training on it. And the nature of this animation is basically to give them a unique skill to have a exposure to the way that they wanted to learn their skills, and which also helps them to provide a meaningful employment for the school dropouts. And the next one is, the aim of my research is to investigate the potential impact of animation skill training on employment opportunities for the school dropouts. And it highlights on the nature of the challenges faced by this demographic people. And the significance of significance of the animation skill is, animation skills are viewed as the as for the socio-economic upliftment, and it also aims to break this cycle of poverty by providing them with a valuable and marketable skills for them. And my research objective is to assess the impact of animation skill training, to identify the key factor contributing to the improvement of employment perspective, and to expose the socio-economic empowerment through animation training, to conduct the comprehensive case studies, and also to provide them with policy recommendations. And to start with my review of literature, so I have just divided into 4 segments, and the first segment is actually talks about the challenges faced by the school dropouts. And the challenges which was faced by the school dropouts is basically the economic and the social dimension of the school dropout has entirely changed, and they also face the stigma and limited opportunities for them. By understanding this, they also given them a clear understanding and to identify the nuances of how they can use animation to help their own skill to be developed. And the second one is the importance of occasional training, where this occasional training is basically where they teach them a soft skill, and they also teach them how to work with the soft skill in an animation manner for them. And the paper says that, and the occasional training serves a bridge to meaningful employment, breaks the cycle of unemployment for them. And the third one is the role of animation in employment. The focus, in that they actually talk about the employment potential within the animation sector offers diverse career path, providing them an opportunity for the school dropouts to assure the demand in the skill. And the next one will be the role of government and private trainings in here. So here, as I told, the MSME has actually initiated for the school dropouts, and they have also collaborated with the with the government, with the private training institute to enhance the skill-oriented program to them. So here, as my methodology is followed by, I have followed the methodology of case studies, where I have 5 case studies, out of which there are 3 women's and 2 men's are here. And these case studies are actually a primary data for me, where I have gone in person and I have analyzed the entire impact of animation in their career perspective. To start with, we have an entrepreneur called Uma, where she has joined the NSME course for 3 days. And in that, they have taught her how to work with the basic animation, basic 2D animations on that, where she is always, she is from her childhood, she had an interest towards, in Tamil, we call it as kolam, where a very familiar word is a rangoli, where she uses this rangoli in animation platform, and she is selling her rangoli to people, and she is also taking online classes. By like this, she has also turned into a entrepreneur, and she is also helping many other school dropout school students or many women to have a proper life or to the upliftment of the life. And there is a person called Rahul, where Rahul is also a school dropout. When he dropped his school on his 8th standard, but from his childhood, he is always good in artistic work. So this animation helped him to enhance the artistic work in it. And then he's also started selling his work. And he is also working under a multimedia company where he is also being a trainee over there, and he'll also be getting placed over there. So like this, I have 5 different cases where Zara is also a school dropout, where she dropped out when her 11th standard, and she is always into more of science and experiments. So she has created her own animated videos, and she's actually taking free classes for people, and she's also getting money out of it. And the common themes across these case studies are the transformative power of animation as training, where it helps them to have a consistent income generation for their family, and which helps them in the upliftment of their life. And the second point is the key factor of contributing the employability opportunity for them, where it's not that they have to go out and work on something. Say that if they are good in any sort of an animation, they can be their own boss for their work, they are doing it. And it also gives them a hand-on experience for them to have a successful career for them. And animation is also used in multi-discipline fields, like the electrician has also used animation for his own career. And there are a lot of open sources which are available on internet. So all these helps them to have a better life by using animation as a skill-oriented program, and it's also a soft skill which helps them to work on. And by concluding it, a transformation impact is it's very evident to see when they are under a animation training process, and the challenges and the identification which are faced by the by the school dropouts, where basically the financial barriers initial stage and a society stigma, and they also have a gender issues into it. And another one, like as a school dropout, they also work as the community-centered initiative, where, as I told in the case of Uma is actually helping another girls who are in her own situation. So in that way, it is also playing as the community-centered initiative, and it is also giving them a holistic approach to skill development, which analyze the importance of the skill development and balance the technique and the soft skill contribution to well-rounded skill sets in this. So by this, I'm just finishing my...
Soumya, your PPT, it's just showing introduction. The other
sorry.
pages...
Sorry, ma'am. It's still there, ma'am. You want me to explain it again, ma'am?
No, it's okay. Just show me the findings, I think. Session, yeah.
These are the conclusions, ma'am.
Okay. Natasha ma'am would like to have some questions for her or any comments. Thank you. Thank you, Soumya.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Natasha ma'am would like to have some questions or comments.
Yeah, thank you, Soumya, for that interesting presentation. You have taken 5 case studies. So
yes.
I'm interested in knowing, like, these 5 case studies, like, do you think that numbers will increase? Like, what's the population like? Like, how many people are actually taking up the animation skill trainings out of that? Like, how many are getting employed? So not just the success stories, but what's the actual percentage of success stories? Like, are they getting employments, the others? Not just the 5 case studies, because it's a very short term course. You're talking about 3 days animation course and all that. And is there a tie-up between this MSME courses and private sector, so that they get a chance when they get out of the course, they're given an internship or something? Or is it just,
Yes, ma'am.
5
Yeah,
case
ma'am.
studies is, I feel, too less to actually say something about the whole industry.
Sure, ma'am. Yeah, ma'am. Like as I told, MSME is actually giving them a soft skill for a very different disciplines, ma'am. Like starting with mechanics, start for any technical oriented thing, they are giving a lot of into it, ma'am. But then MSME has enough like.
Soumya, sorry to interrupt. Can you just switch on your video, because we have not.
Yeah,
Can
ma'am.
it be possible to just
Yes,
switch on your
ma'am.
video once?
Yeah. Am I
Yeah.
audible?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So yeah, ma'am. So MSME has given a lot of opportunities for not only the school dropouts, but then there are a lot of people are getting actually benefited for that. But then, like, my study is all about school dropouts, where when I was doing the study, I actually had a number of 10 to 15 people. But then I just took about 5 out of it, which had a career growth on it, ma'am. So I just wanted to analyze how are the career growth is been useful, or which been helps them to uplift their the social economics, their upliftment of their career and for their life. So these are the 5 people that I have choose. But then we still have a lot of opportunities for the the school dropouts to be employed in more places. And we also have another place where it is uh, NTF, sorry, ma'am, it's National Development Film Corporation, where they are also giving a free training for people. It's not only for the school dropouts, people who are above 18 years, they are giving, where they'll take 30 people per session, and they are doing it for more than 5 to 6 years. And they are also assuring they'll give 100% placement after they finish their course, and that course is for 1 month. But I wanted to do it in NSME because it was an initial status which was started by the government. So I just wanted to do it on that now. And there are a lot of people are getting employed, and there are a lot of organizations, as you told, as you asked me, there is another institute called Bridge Institute in Chennai, where they are also collaborating with the MSME, where the resource person are from Bridge Academy, and they will train the people. And if required, the government has also told that they will also have a full-fledged training as they do it for mechanical and software update. The same way they'll also do it for animation if their employability is increasing through that now.
Okay. Thank you. That'll be
Yeah.
all.
So we go ahead with our next speaker. So our next speaker is Mohammad Julkan Naik. His paper is on the role of journalism in central bank communication on sustainable banking initiatives, Bangladesh perspective.
Good morning to the session chair and the co-chair, moderator, and all participants of this conference. I'm Mohammad Julkarnain, currently work as Deputy Director of Bangladesh Bank, Central Bank of Bangladesh, and I am currently on deputation. I feel honored to have received Sir Finance Scholarship from Reserve Bank of India for pursuing MA in Journalism and Mass Communication at Adamas University. I'm grateful for the opportunity to share my research paper titled The Role of Journalism in Central Bank Communication on Sustainable Banking Initiative, Bangladesh Perspective. Here the study of my research paper. This study looks at how journalism helps share information about sustainable banking efforts by central banks in Bangladesh. You know that central bank make the policy for the people to financial issues, and journalists are the mass communication give the information from the central bank to easy way to evaluate the working financial stability of Bangladesh. And the recent year, 40% compared to the previous year, reaching 35,000 crore since 2011. Bangladesh Bank has been working on green banking rules, setting goals for banks to adopt green and sustainable finance. By December 2022, the sector achieved 12% green and sustainable finance in its portfolio, contributing to environmental and climate goals. Here, the background of the study. Overview of sustainable banking and central bank communication. We know that in communication sector, central bank communication is the most important part for banking industry. So Bangladesh perspective is also gathered here. Here, the literature review. Garika identified challenges in the collaboration between media and central banks, such as potential conflicts of interest, information, and the need for nuanced reporting on complex financial and sustainability issues. Ahmed and Rehman's studied specific to Bangladesh shed light on how media frames sustainable banking issues. Here, I gathered the two research objectives. First objective, analyze the role of journalism in disseminating information about sustainable banking initiatives in Bangladesh. And the second objective, examine the influence of journalism on public perception and policy priorities related to the sustainable banking. We know that research methodology is the most important part. I shared the secondary data collect from financial statement from Bangladesh Bank and other banks also, and the data collection through interview with the sample survey, pre-designed questionnaire. Here the conceptual framework. I make the dependent variable and independent variable. Here, the independent variable is central bank communication agency and transparency and clarity, and dependent variable media perception, tone and framing, accuracy of reporting. The role of journalism in central bank. We know the central bank basically, if we go back 20 years ago, bank only focus on profit. After the recent time, from beginning of the 2000, bank perfectly said that no, we work for society, we work for environment. Sustainability banking focus on environmental issues and social issues and social corporate responsibility issues. And that time, business person, they only focus on their profit. So banking investors say that no, we focus not only issues of the profit, we focus on the environmental issues. So positive media coverage boosts reputation and attracts socially responsible investors, while negative coverage highlights issues leading to corrective actions and more transparency in banking. Journalists are crucial in shaping how the public sees sustainable banking, encouraging its adaptation. Here, the sustainable banking. Sustainable banking focus on environmental and social priorities, what I said before, and journalists report to the reporting and mass people and sustainable development for Bangladesh. Green finance have the different schemes and sector to invest their money, like recycling product, green establishment, renewable energy, alternative energy, solid waste management, energy efficiency, etc. And these are the discussion and findings of my study. Here are the findings. The study findings highlights that everyone agrees journalism is crucial for supporting sustainable banking efforts. The research result underscore a shared recognition of journalism's pivotal role in promoting sustainable banking initiatives. The findings imply a positive outlook on the integrity of journalism in reporting on sustainability issues related to the central bank's initiatives in Bangladesh. I make the 4 recommendations for central bank policymaking perspective. Facilitate collaboration workshop and training session. Here, participants will be the journalists, central bank officials, and sustainability expert. Form independent committee. Monitor and evaluate media coverage of sustainable initiative. Basically, sometimes journalists frame that bank cannot profit because of sustainability investment. But we said always that no, sustainability banking gives the profit from the 2 sides, from the environmental issues and from the other issues. So investors now understand from the journalist that no, is it possible to from the sustainable banking give us the profit? A strengthened partnership, foster mutual understanding between media organization and the central bank, activities, regular dialogues, briefings, and joint initiatives. Institute awards or recognition. We know that recognition is the most important part for every work. So give the award to journalists who do an excellent job reporting on sustainable banking. This can encourage them to explore the topic more through research and share detailed perspective with the public. Here the conclusion. This study looks at how journalism and the central bank work together to promote sustainable banking in Bangladesh. Journalism acts as a crucial link connecting the central bank with the public, influencing perception and impacting the success of sustainable banking. Most participants, including journalists and bankers, agree that journalism plays a vital role in creating awareness about sustainable banking. In Bangladesh, increase in environmentally friendly banking guided by the central bank rules, financial support, and sustainable ratings. The research emphasized the importance of clear communication between journalism and the central bank for the success of sustainable banking initiative. It suggests action like transparent communication, collaboration, honest reporting, and widespread information sharing to bring positive changes to Bangladesh banking perspective. Thank you.
Thank you, Naeem. Natasha ma'am, do you have any questions you can ask?
Yeah, I was wondering, thank you, Mr. Naeem.
Thank you.
You have taken 50 journalists and bankers, but you haven't involved the public in finding out if it has really helped them. So if it's effective, the reporting on the banking sector. So why have you left the public out to actually figure out?
Yeah. Yes, madam. I think that journalists work with mass people. we are so when I think that journalists many reports in newspaper about sustainable banking positive issue. So if a journalist report positive way in newspaper, so people can understand easily. So
journalists would say they're doing a good job, and bankers would say they're doing a good job, but the actual study is with the public, isn't it? How effective the journalism is. I mean, whether they're getting the information they need from the papers or from the media, right? So I would have appreciated if you had involved the public a little, to find out, because both the people you've taken, the parties, they would say they're doing a good job and it's effective and it's all good, right? But then we don't know what the public feels, and that's where the importance of this is, right? So otherwise, thank you. It's a interesting proposition, I think. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Moumita.
Thank you, Naik. I'll go for the next speaker.
So our next speaker is our next speaker is Shireen Hamdani. The paper is covering LGBTQ representation, a study of English newspapers in Kashmir.
Okay, a very good morning to everyone. Yeah, ma'am, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible. Can you just switch on your video and you can go ahead with your paper.
All right. Yeah, hi, a very good morning to everyone. I'm Shireen, a PhD research student in School of Media Studies from Central University of Kashmir. So I'll be sharing my screen.
So you have exactly 10 minutes, it's 31. So you conclude by 41 and then we can go over with the questions.
Sure, ma'am.
Yeah, go ahead. I would request you to keep your video on while presenting.
Just a minute, ma'am. I'll do that. I'm actually unable to make it the whole slideshow. Yeah, right now,
it's fine. It's fine. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am.
You have full screen.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So I'll be presenting my research work on. Am I visible on the video?
Yeah, you are visible, audible, everything. Perfect.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. So I'll be presenting my work about covering LGBTQ representation, a study of English newspapers in Kashmir, India. When we talk about the Sustainable Development Goals, there we are talking about one of the goals is gender equality. But in contemporary times, we are not talking about gender equality only between men and women or male and female, but we are also contemplating over gender diversity and gender inclusivity. So moving ahead. The purpose, the rationale of the study is, this study is centered on the aim of contemplating the role of media in Kashmir in contemporary scenario, which is in post section of 377 in India, where there is no criminalizing ground left behind by the Supreme Court of India. So this research work investigates how the news and other forms of stories are portraying LGBTQ people, and the study actually scrutinizes the language component in representing LGBTQ community with analyzing how descriptors like, I would say, adjectives, adverbs, metaphors, if they have been used in the content, they'll be analyzed, and the narrative structures are employed in the construction of insensitive, positive victim, economic, social and cultural, educational and social reforms narratives related to LGBTQ people. So this is the some of the literature that I have highlighted here. Apart from these 5 studies, I have studied more, but I have just kept it like short due to the time constraints. So the previous literature that actually widely discusses transgender community in the region, leaving aside the LGB among the spectrum, as if it does not exist in the phenomena. Though national-based literature contributes the study of LGBTQ activism in India and Supreme Court's judgment of decriminalizing Section 377, so some other seminal international studies extensively talked about the LGBTQ representation in broadcasting and streaming television also. So, and media, electronic media, along with a little importance given to print media in China. The existing literature has the researcher, I have found some gaps in the literature, but the existing literature has touched the psychosociological aspects of media exposure and attitudes towards LGBTQ people. However, this study is focused on comprehending the portrayal of LGBTQ people, particularly in regional newspapers. This research is intending to fill the gap by learning what and how media covers stories related to such underprivileged communities in Kashmir. So these are some sociological and media theories that have been undertaken into consideration while analyzing the study, the content. So these are the theories that I'll be talking in detail in alignment with the conclusion, findings, and inferences. Fine. So moving ahead, the research objectives of this study are assessing the frequency and placement of the news stories. They appear on the issues of LGBTQ in Kashmir regional newspapers, and analyzing the language, as I said, knowing the treatment of the language given to the LGBTQ people in the newspapers, like whether it's positive, whether it's negative or neutral, and ascertaining the change, if there is any, in the media coverage after the Supreme Court judgment decriminalizing Section 377 of IPC. Then finding out the possible reasons or factors dictating the media coverage. So in alignment with the objectives of this research study, these are the questions pertaining to the answers that the researcher is going to find about. And I'll be talking about the answers as well in the conclusion. Then this is the methodology. The researcher has employed simple random sampling, and through lottery method, the 4 newspapers have been selected for content analysis. That is Greater Kashmir, Kashmir Reader, Kashmir Observer, and Rising Kashmir. And apart from the content analysis, the researcher has also taken into consideration the interviews of the media managers or editors of the 4 sample newspapers and the LGBTQ rights activists in Kashmir, based in Kashmir. So the researcher has taken 2,265 newspaper issues of these selected newspapers published from June 2018 to December 2019. However, due to conflicting disturbances in the valley, the sample dailies couldn't publish the newspapers of for 47 days in the month of, I guess, August 2019, when the abrogation of Article 370 happened. So keeping that 47 days apart, the newspaper issues were counting to 2,265. So the duration of the sample has been segregated into 4 categories. That is pre-decriminalizing Section 377, which is June 2018 to 5 September 2018. Then it's on the day of decriminalizing. I have kept 2 days, 6th and 7th, because since newspapers do not publish on the same day, so I have kept 6th and 7th as on the decriminalizing day. Then we have post decriminalization of Section 377. That's 8 September 2018 to December 2018. The day of decriminalizing Section 377 was on 6th of September 2018. Then to understand whether it has been like the coverage has been given only pre-decriminalization day or post-decriminalization day, I have taken in continuity coverage also in the year of 2019. So the sample size, as I said, was 2,265 newspaper issues, and the units of analysis have been news reports, articles, editorials, and standalone pictures and representational pictures on LGBTQ. Moving ahead, there were delimitations of the study. Only English newspapers have been taken into consideration because of the operational constraints, and Kashmir region only due to the local relevance in terms of geography, language, and culture. So the content that have been studied during the process of research, there have been themes in the content that have come up, like legal rights. The stories are related to legal, human, religion, political, success stories, educational, informative, or sometimes it's related to health. So then these are a few headlines that I have highlighted here that have been published in newspapers on different days. So as you can see, these are the headlines. I won't go into details. I'll be moving ahead. Then quantitative analysis of the newspapers. So out of the total sample of the news stories published on LGBTQ particularly, the frequency of the stories have been, unfortunately, 2.25% only. Only 2.25% of the stories have been published on LGBTQ people. So the overall coverage between the newspapers, that the 4 newspapers were taken, Kashmir Reader has given the highest, I would say, coverage, but it's not 52.9% out of 2.2265. It is where I have kept 2.25 as the base score now. So out of 2.25, considering it as 100% of the amount, so 52.9% of the stories have been published by the Kashmir Reader, and the least coverage has been given by Rising Kashmir with 9.8%. So I would say I would prefer to skip these stats and graphs due to the time constraints. I would directly emphasize on the.
There's a request, Shireen. We would like to have your, please go ahead with your explanation.
Okay, sure. So the placement of the news
I think
stories.
Natasha ma'am would also agree with me.
Sure, I'll be glad to explain.
Yeah.
So the placement of the news stories, when we talk about the placement, it actually shows how importance you're giving to the story. If you're keeping it on the front page, that means the story is very important for the readers and also for the people who are covering it and publishing it. So the researcher has found in her findings that the story 23.5% of the stories have been given coverage published on the front page, and 76.5% of the stories were published on the inside page, like page 11, 12, just at the back of the pages of the newspaper. So the overall frequency, theme-based news stories on LGBTQ, the legal stories were about 53%, and human rights were 13.7%, religion was 9.8%, and other stories like political were 7.8%, and success stories were 5.9%, and informative and health education were 9.8% of the stories. Then I have segregated in the graph the newspapers separately. Like Kashmir Observer have given 75% of the stories that are related to political narrative of the LGBTQ, where the story is indicating the political aspect of it. Then Kashmir Reader, there you have 80% of the stories are talking about the religion. Then Rising Kashmir and rest of the themes are like 0, 0, 0. They're not talking about it. Then Greater Kashmir, there you can see 57.1% are talking about the human rights of LGBTQ people. So moving ahead, the distribution of news stories on LGBTQ based on themes in 4 newspapers. This is the percentage-wise analysis. Like in Greater Kashmir, only 10 news stories have been published out of 2,265 these papers. So Rising Kashmir has given 5, Kashmir Reader only 27, Kashmir Observer only 9. So the total amount were 51 stories were published during the period that the researcher has taken. Then we can see the language treatment, how the language has been used in the newspapers. So the language that have been used in the newspapers were reflecting the positive tone of the language was 68.18%, negative was 18.18%, and neutral it was 13.6%. Then, when we talk about the percentage-wise coverage on LGBTQ issues pre and post abrogation of Section 377, as I said, I had segregated it on 4 divisions, 4 categories. Pre-Supreme Court judgment, on the day of judgment. It is showing like 9.8% of the stories were published pre-Supreme Court judgment. And on the day of Supreme Court judgment, that's 6th and 7th of September 2018, 15.7% of the stories were published. And post Supreme Court judgment, it was 45.1% of the stories, which shows like people were talking about it more, journalists were giving coverage to it more after the Supreme Court judgment. But when we talk about the continuity of the coverage, it was like again dropping, plummeting to 29.4% of the newspapers publishing in this, like news stories publishing in the newspapers. Then on geographical importance, the stories published in the newspapers were, most of the stories were based on the regional stories based on regional LGBTQ people. It was only 47%. And national related stories were published. It was 27.5%. And international stories were 25.5%. So moving ahead, and news stories published.
Just sorry to interrupt. You have to, wrap up.
Okay, fine. That's why I had asked that I prefer to go to major findings. But anyway, I'll go ahead. Then these are the interview excerpts from Rising Kashmir, Kashmir Observer, and LGBTQ activist. Actually, there were commonalities from the excerpts that the researcher has taken. Like both the research. Both the Rising Kashmir, Kashmir Observer, LGBTQ activists, they agreed on one thing, that LGB, that is lesbian, gay, and bisexual, this is invisible community in the region, and the only the visibility are there for transgenders only. And the 3 responses reflected the issues stand nowhere near the majority of the public interest. So the differences from the interviews that have been concluded, that is, Kashmir Observer actually mentioned that news coverage is eventually progressing, which is contradicting to the stats. And Rising Kashmir, they said like newsworthiness is determined by how many people it is going to interest. So actually in Kashmir, it doesn't interest the public good. So nobody wants to read their story. So the news that comes in the newspapers, it's not all about them. So Kashmir Observer said that there is difficulty in reporting because of the LGBTQ people wear cloak of anonymity. There is a fear of ostracism in them, and they actually are familiar sob stories. That is how they responded with the interview questions. And inferences contradicting, as I said, it is contradicting the stats. So the LGBTQ rights activists had to say that media is conditioned to be homophobic, and regional media gives least coverage in comparison to online platforms. Moving ahead, these are the major findings that I have already explained in the graphs and stats. This is just the repetition of that. I would like to skip it now. So inferences based on these research objectives, the researcher has found that the data coincides with the theoretical concept of framing in the newsroom, where McCombs explained that every news organization has an agenda and some problems are prioritized on that agenda. The analysis recognized that media organization in Kashmir have its agenda, which intends, as I said, that it doesn't interest public, so they do not publish the stories related to LGBTQ. So the study finds that media in Kashmir believes LGBTQ, not T is here, LGBTQ is invisible and transgender is underrepresented community, which gets dissolved in the background of conflict zone. Then you have language and treatment, the another objective. So the researcher has found out that the language that has been used is used in a very blunt style, describing the fundamental issues of the transgender community. And transgender people still are still fighting for their basic human rights, cornering the other members of LGBTQ spectrum. The analysis relates with the sociological concept of muted group theory, where invisible LGBT people are suppressed within the major group, including transgender. And the media coverage ensures the visibility of transgender in Kashmir. Therefore, according to Glenn's theory, 2004, where he talks about the group members, where one type of group member that is transgender in this aspect will frequently control the other members, indulging in rhetorical acts of silence, which diminishes or conceals the presence of other weaker groups, that is LGBTQ people in this finding. Moving ahead, so the another object the inference have been drawn out from the content that interviews contradicting the stats, which is 29.4% of the stories have been only published post Supreme Court's judgment, maintaining invisible status quo of LGBTQ. Yet there was no coverage given to transgender in the long communication blockade during abrogation, as I already mentioned. In alignment to the theoretical concept of social stigma, it emphasizes Goffman's division of individuals' relationship to a stigma, where he talks about its three categories: the stigmatized, those who carry the stigma; the normals, those who do not carry the stigma; and the wise, they are from the normals who are recognized by the stigmatized. The stigmatized have remained the same as regional newspapers have terribly failed to change or break any category of stigmatization and stereotyping of LGBTQ in the society. Then factors, what are the factors, possible reasons dictating media coverage? The findings have been reflecting that hard news concerns majority of the public in Kashmir. Public interests prioritize different events like political developments, promotional business setups, news stories taking precedence over human interest stories, lack of social acceptance, lack of awareness, because LGBTQ, nobody understands what they stand for. The relevance of mass communication theory, the spiral of silence in understanding media managers and editors. Newman states that mass media have a significant impact on how an individual interprets his social environment. If an individual increasingly perceives the more widespread opinion, not his own, in his social milieu, he will be less likely to express his own perspective openly. What is happening here? So media practitioners less likely express their individual perspective and becomes agents in maintaining heteronormativity in the society and silencing the oppressed. So these are the probable implications of this study, which would, I hope, sensitize media fraternity, and it would create a public awareness, changing attitudes of heterosexuals, and maybe no gender biases, and maybe there would be some policy taking into consideration for their betterment. That is it. These are the references, some of the references that I have highlighted here. That is it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Shall I stop sharing screen?
Yeah,
or...
please, yeah, stop sharing. And I would like to ask Natasha ma'am whether any comments or questions for her.
Yeah, thank you, Shireen. I think that was a wonderful presentation.
Thank you so much.
You've done a good job, rigorous job of collecting the information, like 2,265 papers. That's quite a lot, right?
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah. So why is there's a huge gap between the transgender and the LGBTQ coverage?
Because as I mentioned, ma'am, here in Kashmir, LGBTQ, what these acronyms stand for, nobody understands. It's just few percentage of the people would understand who they people are. They only know transgenders. Transgenders in local relevance, we call them Lance. Lance is the proper term they use. So they have their jobs, the roles in the society, like they would sing in the marriages. They would be mediators for the marriage proposals. That's it. That's their inclusion in the society. Other than, nobody cares about them. Nobody bothers whether they are getting the fundamental rights or not. And rest of the spectrum, the rest of the acronyms in the spectrum, nobody understands actually what this L is, what this G is, what this B is. Nobody knows. Just they are transgenders are visible. That's it. Nobody wants to know actually what is apart from it. And same is reflecting in the newspapers as well.
So this from the abrogation of that Article 377,
yes, ma'am.
How would you conclude, like, is it getting better, the coverage, or was it only about the event, like the legal news? I think you showed that most of the coverage is on the legal issues, right?
On
So
the
maybe
day,
they were
and
just covering the event of that abrogation.
but that wasn't sufficient, ma'am, to be very honest. Like, the event was a big one, but the coverage wasn't given much. As I said, 2.25%. That's nothing. That's nothing.
So it hasn't improved after 2018.
As I have already chosen the sample duration of 2019, the whole year, it hasn't improved. The whole duration 2018 and 19, including the event as well, it is 2.25%. You can yourself understand what could be the percentage in the continuity of the coverage then. If it is the whole for the 18 months, 2.25, then it would be just a 1%, I guess.
Natasha ma'am, can I have a question for Shireen? I just
please go ahead.
I'm curious about it. Shireen, can you just tell me briefly, like, what's the role of the community? Do community make any such effort to make awareness drive regarding this? You said that people have no idea about LGBTQ. Only T is there for some reasons. Do you have, like, theaters or any just street plays or something like that? I was just curious to know.
Ma'am, I'm saying, as I have already highlighted that also, what are the reasons, probable reasons why the coverage is not so much that it should have been? The main reason is lack of social acceptance also. People do not accept them. People do not want to see like they are there. So since the time has grown, only transgender have made their place, but that's also not that much. It's still stigmatized. So if there are even cases like for marriage proposals, if some transgender is coming in someone's house, they would not prefer them. They would say, no, we don't have to go with the transgender people doing our marriages. No, we'll go for the other option. So there is stigmatization undoubtedly, and people do not accept them. They are not acceptable, and they don't want to know or be aware about the LGBTQ.
Thank you, Shireen. We have come to our end of this session, and we would like to call upon Dr. Shashikala for her comments or any questions for our participants. Thank you, participants, for wonderful papers. I'll go over straight to Shashikala ma'am. Over to you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Moumita. Firstly, congratulations to the organizing team and the Adamas University for such a wonderful international conference on media and communication. And specifically, this session is very close to journalism and technology. And I would strongly mention my strong admiration and what I should say. I had become fan for Dr. Natasha. Thank you. You made my job easier. But then your questions were so good, so pinpoint. I was enjoying it literally.
Oh, thank you.
So thank you, Dr. Natasha. Thank you, Dr. Moumita. And congratulations to the School of Media Studies, School of Media and Communication from Adamas University. And yes, as an academic partner, Makhanlal Chaturvedi National University of Journalism and Communication, Bhopal, we take pleasure in being a collaborative partner with you. And yes, the presenters, they have done beautiful work. I should appreciate their efforts that they have taken to connect journalism and technology, the relevant point of the period, I should say. I'm just going one by one. To start with, Mr. Rega Sounder, who had spoken on struggle of citizen journalist, opinion study of media experts and academicians in Tamil Nadu. Already Dr. Natasha had asked the relevant question. But then I too had the same in my mind, why you have restricted to only the media experts. You have just contacted only the media experts and academicians. Actually, the stakeholder, the important stakeholder is the citizen journalists themselves. They should have been contacted. Okay, fine. You have started an initiative. You can continue in your next research. You can include citizen journalists themselves. That is my views. And the second point related to this work is when you are talking about Tamil Nadu, then you compared it with other states, whether any other state have done better in case of citizen journalists. You could have taken the nearby states, Karnataka, Kerala, any Indian state for that matter. And I feel the citizen journalists, they have contributed a lot in the past, at least in the and other big events that have changed the things in the state. So that could have been, you had done a good job. And the second one, assessing India's position regarding the conflict in and around the Gaza Strip and contrasting news emphasis in two prominent Israeli newspapers. Dr. Ahmed, yes, you could have, as Dr. Natasha said, you could have explained it with an example. The example news articles would have made the presentation more appealing. That is what even I felt it. The number of articles, I think you have taken 10 articles, whether any comparison of these articles on certain parameters other than the size of the news articles, that I think it could have been explained more. And then what was the reason to take these two newspapers? I couldn't find much judgment, but then maybe there must be some reason you must not have explained here. That is what I feel. You can do it better, but it's very good. Like, we would like to know the Israel-Indo relations, like how do they reflect? The Israeli newspapers, how do they reflect? We would like to know more about it. So because of the curiosity, these questions arise. And yes, congratulations again, Dr. Ahmed. And then the third paper on research paper on impact of animation skill training on employment opportunities for school dropouts. Again, I think this is the time for vocational training, and particularly you have talked about MSME. But then that is a very good research work from Mother Teresa Women's University, Kodaikanal. P. Soumya, you have explained it, but then I couldn't find out that why in abstract in the second paragraph you have mentioned about the college dropouts. When we were talking about school dropouts, that I had a doubt, but then the work is good. Always there is scope for improvement. Nice work. And then about the role of journalism in central bank communication on sustainable banking initiative, Bangladesh perspective. Again, it's a good one, relevant one. But then my question is about how many central banks have you studied? And particularly the feedback from the public, because they are the most important stakeholders, whether the message we have transmitted have reached or not. How will we know unless until we don't speak to them? So that is another important thing. And then as your title is about Bangladesh perspective. What is the Bangladesh perspective? I felt that could have been more, that could have been included more. That's it. Otherwise, it's a very good research again. And then the last one, Shireen Hamdani, covering LGBTQ representation, a study of English newspapers in Kashmir. I feel you are a proper research scholar.
Thank you so
according
much.
to me, because very systematic and one of the most perfect presentation I have seen in out of all 5. But then, see, as a faculty, always we always mention some for improvement. But
Sure.
then there are 2 doubts for me. One, how did you select these newspapers? You have selected few newspapers based on what was the criteria to select these newspapers? I couldn't see it in your presentation. Must be there, but that is one thing. And second thing, that because you are working, I mean, you are doing research in Central University Kashmir, always as per UGC regulations, we always prefer that there should be an IKS component. What does Indian knowledge system speak about LGBTQ? There are references. So you can refer to them because to make your work complete, I felt your work is very systematic. So I thought I'll add some points to it. That IKS component can be included in that.
Okay.
And then the other side of this LGBT representation, we speak in for, and then the other part countries about wokes and the problems that were created by the wokes. That be as a limitation. It's not necessary that in research always say only positive things. The other side can also always be quoted. So
Yes,
that we can give some suggestions to overcome those limitations. That is
Sure, ma'am.
what research is all about. So it's a good, what I should say, a very good interactive and qualitative time with you all, with research scholars and with the organizing team. And as I'm coming from the Asia's first university, journalism university, and this department, the department which I'm holding now presently, is the first of its kind in India, I should say, new media technology, where we deal with the technical aspects of media. So you can learn media, graphics, animation, analytics. We touch every corner of this media technology. So you all are welcome to our university anytime in future. And thank you for allowing me to share the.
Thank you, ma'am. Any participants would like to answer ma'am regarding her queries? I think we have Shireen is there. If you
Yes,
would
ma'am.
like to, yeah.
Definitely, ma'am. You have posed 2 questions, 2 queries. Actually, one is not a question, one is a suggestion that I would definitely take into consideration next time. And the newspapers chosen were based on the simple random sampling, as I have already mentioned in the presentation. You might have skipped that. It's actually based on the lottery method. So I have taken these 4 newspapers and the editors of these 4 only newspapers and the LGBTQ rights activist and the IKS, as you mentioned. I would definitely take that into consideration for the publication purpose, maybe. Thank you so much for your wonderful suggestions, valuable feedback.
Thank you. Next, Naeem is there. Naeem would like to answer. She had some.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for feedback, ma'am. Basically, I want to work with the public, and then ma'am said that the central bank. Basically, I work for Bangladesh Central Bank. So central bank, only one central bank every country. So I will try to make the people combined here. So thank you. I will do that. Thank you for your feedback, ma'am.
We have Mr. Riga Sounder, but would like to, yeah.
Ma'am, regarding the insights from the citizen journalist, we are trying to locate and identify citizen journalist in Tamil Nadu. Once we get the data on citizen journalist in Tamil Nadu, we will do it in our upcoming work, ma'am.
Okay, Soumya is not there. I can't find. Soumya is there. Yeah, Soumya would like to respond to the query that Dr. Shashikala ma'am has posed. Soumya? No. Okay, we don't have Dr. Afaq. So now we are concluding our this session. Thank you so much, participants. Thank you so much, Professor Shashikala, Dr. Natasha, for this wonderful session. For your insightful questions, for the comments, it would surely add academic rigor to enhance academic work for the participants and the research scholars. Thank you so much for this wonderful session. We're looking forward for our future collaboration, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So Dr. Naveena is also there. Nice seeing you over screen. Anna.
Hi, ma'am. Actually,
Hello.
I just connected through phone only. Yesterday, KG Suresh sir was there, and today you are with us, and we are overwhelmed. Soon we will meet physical as well, and through virtually, we will definitely have some interaction down the line. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation. And Natasha, ma'am, I'm so thankful to you. Apart from our very talented moderator, my colleague, Ms. Moumita, and she is wonderfully you people are doing, and thank you so much for all of you. Like anything, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you all, and I hope
we are
you can
officially
disconnect.
concluding. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.